And thanks for joining us on your Tuesday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox, and we are tracking storms across the southern portion of the U.S. today, all the way up to the Midwest. Hail in the Midwest, but it looks good now. Okay, so we'll keep on going. Hey, are you guys headed to the trade show? We've got a discount for you. Let's go back up and show you that discount. Hang on. Win the Storm is happening August 20th through the 22nd. The discount code is HailTrace. Easy to remember, all caps, all one word. Again, 20th through the 22nd. Come by, visit our booth, and use that code to get a discount on your ticket. Alrighty, taking a look at your 3-star hailstorm from yesterday. We got hail in Amarillo. Man, we had 2 storms that were really impressive in the city. And then all along Highway 40, we had 2 or 3 other storms that produced some very large hail up to the size of a tennis ball. We also today have another isolated hail risk, and if you can guess by the title of the forecast today, in the Midwest. Yes, so we were kind of having fun with that one. The hail risk today up in the Midwest, we're talking Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois regions. We're also tracking Erin, tropical storm Erin right now. However, Hurricane Erin is on the horizon, so we'll talk about that as well. Let's start with your storms yesterday. Now, we started seeing storms pop up across Oklahoma City just before the evening commute. This brought a very hectic evening commute for a lot of people across the city. We saw some high wind, we saw some small hail out of this, but the biggest show yesterday was Amarillo, as we saw one storm up to the north on the highway produced tennis ball size hail. It was like these other storms said, oh, it's on now. And a lot of strengthening happened in a very short amount of time. We saw a few isolated storms start to move into Amarillo and then all the way down I-40 here. Finally, they all kind of congealed into a line, making it very messy, and that hail size got a lot smaller as we headed down to the south, but Amarillo was still left with some very impressive hail, a lot of hail as well. Actually, let me just show you a video. Let's take a video of that hail yesterday. You're going to see just how much hail we got. Holy moly. Not only decent sized hailstones, but also some high wind with that hail, and you can't hear it on the video there, but that lady is saying, large hail was not on my bingo card today. Now, it was a pretty low risk for Amarillo to get hail yesterday, but all it takes is one storm. Very impressive right there. Let me show you a few more pictures. Yeah, we got up to, I think it was tennis ball size hail was the most impressive on the northwest side of the city. However, a little bit smaller as we came into the city itself. We've got a map for you here. There you go, your largest hailstones highlighted there in red. There's your tennis ball size hail, right? Started up to the north of Amarillo and then went down to the northwest side of the city. A little bit smaller as we got into the city, but hey, golf ball size hail, we'll take it, right? Amarillo, Canyon, Panhandle, Texas, max hail size, tennis ball. Homes impacted, about 39,000 homes impacted with hail, at least over the size of a quarter, from Panhandle all the way to Canyon, and of course Amarillo with the bulk of that population there. Alrighty, moving on, let's take a look at what we're expecting. Our radar's pretty quiet right now. No severe thunderstorm warnings right now. So what are we expecting for today? We've got 3 areas that have a marginal risk. That's a level 1 risk, anywhere from Chicago all the way up into the northern portion of Indiana, southern portion of Michigan. We've got another marginal risk out in Wisconsin today, and then another one down to the south in New Mexico and Arizona. Now in that area, we're really watching for high winds, but we'll pinpoint the exact hazards to be keeping an eye on today. South Dakota, we've got another risk for you tomorrow, and then we go up to the north by Wednesday. Now Wednesday, I have my eye on. It looks like Wednesday we could see, or Thursday, excuse me, Thursday we could see a pretty good chance for a tornado risk up in the northern portion of the U.S. on Thursday, so that's 3 days out. We've got a cold front moving through the northern portion of the U.S. right now. That's going to help our storms later on today. And then we've got a few other boundaries farther down to the south. Pretty quiet across the northeast. We've got some showers and storms ongoing across the southeast. Now, while I'm not impressed by the storms over here, we aren't watching for those severe hazards with storms in the southeast. We are watching for flooding issues, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the forecast. The rest of the U.S. pretty quiet right now, but things could change later on this afternoon. Current temperatures are sitting in the 70s and 80s. We're talking about 77 here in Oklahoma City, a lot nicer than what we saw on Sunday. Yeah, it's cooled down quite a bit. That front and those showers and storms helped a lot yesterday to help us cool down. 80 degrees up in Kansas City right now. A lot of us are seeing those cooler temperatures. It's not going to last for very long. We're going to see warmer temperatures by the end of this work week. Let's take a look at your hail risks for today. Now, we want to see those yellows and oranges for larger hail, right? I guess, do you want to see those? I don't know. That's up to you. Hail, not too impressive. If we get anything at all, some small hail, probably smaller than the size of a quarter, if anything at all, from New Mexico to Arizona. However, a little bit more impressive, and I skipped forward a little too fast there. Let's go up to the north now, where we do have an impressive risk for today. We've got some yellows trying to sneak in here from Minnesota to Wisconsin, and then portions of Michigan as well. Again, I'm not watching for those hail sizes to be as large as what we saw yesterday. Max hail size for today, and this may be even stretching it, hen egg-sized hail. Where are we expecting that today? Again, into Wisconsin here. Let's zoom down into this. There you go, Green Bay into Marquette. There's your level 1 risk. I've kept in? What? Well, I was gonna say something about the Midwest. Maybe I'm saying words from the Midwest. I don't think you guys say keppin', do you? Maybe that's an Oklahoma turn. Okay, there you go, I'm keeping Green Bay at a level 1, a low risk for severe storms today. However, Marquette with a higher risk, a level 2 risk for hail today. Again, we're watching for most of these hail sizes to be between a quarter to a ½ inch in size. ½ inch, man, I'm really struggling here. Xander, help me out here. 1.25. $half. Okay, let's reset. $half, keppin'. Okay, we've got a level 2 for Marquette for $half size hail today. But every now and then you can see isolated up to some larger hailstones, maybe seeing those golf ball size hailstones mix in there. You're gonna have to have the perfect storm to get anything larger than a $half in size. Ooh, it's been a long Tuesday, y'all. Let's take you down to the south here. New Mexico into Tucson, Arizona. We have a low risk for some high winds today. Every now and then, a few isolated storms could produce those stronger wind gusts up to 60, maybe 65 miles an hour. Farther up to the north, now this is really where we bring in the rest of the Midwest here. Champaign to Chicago, we're going to have some widespread showers and storms that could produce some strong wind gusts as well. We've got that in the level 2, the moderate category, that level 2 category for some strong winds. And then as we head off to the east, we're talking about Fort Wayne into Detroit, Michigan. That's where we see these storms start to die down a little bit, especially into the late night hours. The tornado risk here is very, very low, but we'll talk about the timeline here in just a few minutes. Lots of the central to the east coast getting a lot of rain today. That's going to cause a flood risk as well. So let's talk about timeline. I think we're going down to the south first, where we're going to start to see scattered showers and storms later on this afternoon and evening. Now, not all of these are going to go severe. A lot of these are going to be your classic summertime thunderstorms where they do not have or pose a severe weather risk. However, as we head into the late night hours, we're going to start to see these weakening. You could see a really good maybe thunderstorm from this, lightning show from this. Every now and then, you're going to see some of these storms, very, very isolated, produce some strong wind gusts. But the hail risk in this area is very low. Now let's go up to the north. As we go up to the north here, what we're going to be watching for are a few isolated small hailstones And then we're going to be watching for those high wind speeds as well. So let's go up to the north. There you go. Okay, so we've got some showers and storms moving through early this afternoon in the far northern portion of Michigan. We're going to see some redevelopment of storms across the northern side of Wisconsin as we head into the afternoon hours. So we're talking about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Storms will be tracking down to the southeast into places like Green Bay, dying out before we get to Milwaukee. So that's one area that we're watching for today. Let me go through your timeline here. Now we've pinpointed Marquette to be the best chance for hail today. Green Bay, you've got a pretty low chance for hail, and you can see exactly why most of these storms are to the north of you. And then Milwaukee, not terribly concerned with your severe weather risk. Let's go down to the south a little bit here into places like Chicago, northern Illinois, northern Indiana. Again, we've got some ongoing showers and storms across northern Michigan right now. I think that's going to unzip down to the south into places like Chicago, Champaign, Illinois, all the way down to the south, bringing us some heavy rain in this area, and then also some high wind speeds. The hail risk in this area is slim to none. I'm really not expecting any large hail for Illinois, Indiana, or Michigan today. However, we are expecting high wind speeds up to 60, maybe 70 miles an hour at times, especially as we go into the evening hours. I think that we could see a few of those wind gusts get reported. Overnight tonight, you should be in the clear. You lay your head down maybe by 11, midnight. Yeah, your storms should be out of your way. You can see that by early tomorrow morning. We are also in the clear with most of those storms off to the east. Just really riding this cold front here. But we told you, on top of that hail and that wind risk today, we're also watching for that flooding risk. So we have a level 2 flooding risk from Tennessee to North and South Carolina, all the way down to Georgia, including Atlanta, or at least north of Atlanta, in this level 2 flooding risk. We could see some of those heavy rainfall, pockets of heavy rainfall throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening, in addition to what we've already gotten this morning. Taking a look at your flood outlook for tomorrow, again, most of the central to the eastern portion of the U.S. included in this rainfall, this excessive rainfall risk here. So flood outlook level 1, anywhere from Austin all the way up to our New England states. Alrighty, let's talk about the tropics now. I think a lot of people are wondering about Erin. Tropical storm right now, however, a hurricane could be on the horizon. What we're watching for here is intensification over the next few days. And as you can see from this map, this storm is just a fish storm right now. You can identify it by satellite. You can see that spin out in the middle of the Atlantic. 45-mile-per-hour wind speeds, and it's moving to the west at about 23 miles an hour. It's a bit fast for tropical storms. That's a pretty decent movement. You can see its exact track, its historical track here, all the way off the coast of Africa into the middle of the Atlantic. Now, it looks like it's a long ways to travel, but could it travel and sustain itself all the way to the East Coast? Yes, some models want it to. Now, we're still about a week away from knowing if that's actually going to happen, at least 5 days away from knowing if that's actually going to happen. So we've got a lot of questions before we get there, right? One of the things that I can answer for you is that this storm is likely to intensify to a hurricane, at least a Category 1 hurricane, but a few other models want to bring it to Category 2 or Category 3. So could this be a major hurricane? Yes, but we are still so far off the coast. By the time that we get to Friday morning, we still have a lot of time to prepare. I think a few advisories are being issued right now, but other than that, we don't have any watches or warnings in place. Those could come as we get into the weekend. Now let's talk about models. Model guidance is telling us most models are agreeing with this track right here. They're actually agreeing all the way up until Saturday morning. After Saturday morning, there's a few questions that start to come in the mix. Is this thing going to turn up to the north and ride the East Coast all the way up to the north? Is it going to turn before then and not get anywhere close to the U.S.? Or is it going to continue on its path straight west into the U.S.? Now, these are the questions that we cannot answer for you quite yet. And I think that you're going to see this consensus from these models as we head into Saturday. And then all of a sudden, they start to split off as we go into Monday. And I wish this moved just a little bit farther to the east. I wonder if it will, or farther to the west. There we go. Okay, so now you're starting to see that models are splitting off from each other, right? Some models want to take this straight up to the north. Some want to continue it on that track to the west, and that could impact the U.S. Again, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We probably won't know for at least the next 5 to 7 days. So we're keeping an eye on it for you. It's just a fish storm right now, but we're giving you tons of warning, tons of warning time to see what this storm will do. We're at Erin right now. That's our 5th named storm of the season. We're at Fernand for our next named storm. Has not been identified yet, but we have 2 other areas of concern. This first concern up to the north. It's a low, very low chance for anything to form up to the north, just off the east coast here. And we've got an area just outside of New Orleans. Also a pretty low chance for any formation. However, just something to keep an eye on. Erin is our most impressive storm right now. And just a reminder that we are expecting several more named storms as we head into the end of August. I know that it was a very slow start to the season. However, we expect it to be a pretty active end of the hurricane season. So as we get into August, September, we still should see quite a bit of activity. It's pretty normal for this time of the year. It's pretty normal to see a lot more activity as we head into the end of August and early September. I think it's September 11th or 12th that we have the most active hurricane time of the year. I think that's the exact date. Alrighty, we talked about storms today. We barely got through that with Kepin and half dollar size. Man, I really struggled there for a minute, but I think that I redeemed myself. Is that right? We talked about storms for today. We were going to talk about storms for tomorrow, and I know that should say Wednesday on there. I know that. All right, let's talk about storms for Wednesday. We're going to go right down into South Dakota. Now, South Dakota, storms for tomorrow are going to fire in the afternoon on the west side of the state. We're going to see storms be pretty widespread across the state. However, not really inching up into North Dakota, not really getting down into Nebraska. Watch these storms. Do you kind of see them starting out in places like Wyoming? Yeah, they're going to track into South Dakota through Rapid City as we head into the late evening hours, and then across the state through the overnight hours, tracking down and favoring the southern side of the state through early Thursday morning. That's your risk for Wednesday. We have another chance for storms up to the north on Thursday. Now, with all of this rain coming through the plains, we've cooled down a little bit. It's nice to see those cooler temperatures. Below average, let's see, temps from normal, 5-6 degrees below normal. It's very nice. We'll take it, right? Unfortunately, the heat is moving back in. As we head into the end of the work week and this weekend, we are seeing temperatures warm back above average in places like Denver, Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, actually a good portion of the Midwest. We're going to continue to see those temperatures warm back up. And this is a trend that we're probably going to see all the way into the end of August. Yeah, we're looking at August 17th through the 21st right here, where we have an above average chance. We have a really good chance to be warmer than normal. So your chance for being warmer than normal, really, really high across a good portion of the West Coast, southern portion of the U.S., and then all the way up to the Midwest. Unfortunately, what we're still seeing with this, has been a trend over and over and over, is below average rain chances out to the west is going to cause that fire concern. I know that we have a fire concern ongoing right now on the West Coast. Unfortunately, I think that will probably continue through the rest of August. Pretty typical for this time of the year, still nothing you ever want to see. And there's your forecast today. Any questions before we hop off of here? I think we're all good on questions. I think that's it. Alrighty. Well, thanks for joining us today. If you have any more questions, any more weather questions, then we will jump back on our Facebook and our YouTube pages to answer those over the next few hours. We're pretty good about responding to those later after the forecast. Thanks for joining us today. Make sure that you follow us on all social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Hey, if you haven't seen the lightning video that we posted yesterday, it's very, very impressive. I think it's on all of our social media pages. And if you're interested in a wind, hail, or tornado map, so that hail map from Amarillo yesterday, give us a call at 855-334-4245 or email us at info@hailtrace.com. You can always head over to our website, hailtrace.com, for more weather updates. All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here for your forecast, same time, same place tomorrow.